Okay, all my wiring rough-in is done now. And basically what I did is I had two wires coming down the wall here. I knew one of them was a feed. So what I did is I took the feed out of the outlet box, dumped it into the switch box, then I came back out of the switch box, and I'll continue the feed right through to the outlet. And what that did for me is it eliminated one more wire going into that outlet box there. There's already three 12-2s going into it, and plus tailing off for the outlet, and if you added one more set of wires, it's just too much. There's no sense in it. So that's why I kind of rerouted the power feed around. And we still got the same amount of wires going in that box, but we were still able to feed our switch for our future wall lantern lights. And that's what these are. Came back up out of the switch. I left two pigtails here. They're going to eventually come out of the wall to feed that light, and then you saw me feed this wire through, and here's the pigtail for the other wall sconce. And I didn't have to do anything with that outlet there except for bumping it out so that it's not recessed so far into the wall. So all the electrical rough-in is done, and now I'm going to start putting the OSB paneling on the wall. Well, a little bit more has gotten accomplished. I've got most of the OSB up, and naturally I am just that much short. Luckily I'm going up to help a friend put up a woodshed tomorrow, and I called him and he's got some extra pieces of 1/2-inch OSB, so I'll be able to pick that up tomorrow and finish that portion. And I just started putting on some of the tongue and groove just to see how it was going to go. And so far, so good. My cutout for the outlet came out really nice. And now I'm just going through and selecting different boards. I'm trying to alternate a little bit. Like these ones here are lighter, a little more blonde in them. These ones here have a little bit of red, so you can kind of see a transition. You know, I made it up, this blonde piece with a blonde piece here, and that's got red halfway through it. This board here's got a lot of red. This is a 1/2 and 1/2 again, where it went from red back to blonde. So I'm going to choose a couple more blonde pieces and get those started. One thing I'm going to start checking is see how level I am, and by that I'm going to just take measurements from that corner to the edge down here, that corner to the edge up there, and that way, you know, if I'm getting off just a little bit, I can start correcting it by either opening up some of the joints just a little bit or closing them as needed. So I'm going to start checking that, and so far so good. And sometimes these tongue and groove boards, they'll have a crown to them, which means you'll be, you know, tight at the top, tight at the bottom, but then there'll be a gap in the middle. And it's helpful to have a 2x4 or something like that, so you can kind of beat these gaps closed, and that closed up that gap nicely. And for nailing these, I usually rip 3 across the bottom here. And then I've been getting them about every 6 to 8 inches. And you want to hold the gun into the tongue a little bit, kind of shoot at about a 45-degree angle or so. And you can see where the hole is, that there shouldn't be any nail holes exposed, you know, when you put the next piece on, when you do it like that. Now we're up on the ladder to get these last few up here. And then once again, when you're at the top, just go ahead and blow about 3 into it like that. We're going to have a trim board that's going to cover this whole thing, so it doesn't matter how many you put in there, they'll all be hidden. I've kind of been using these black marks just as a rough guide, just so there's a little bit of consistency to what I'm doing. And here it is, just a little bit farther along. I'm about as far as I can go there. I've ran out of 1/2 inch OSB, and I'm right up to the edge now. So that's as far as we can go today. I took a measurement at the top to the edge of the tongue, and at the bottom to the edge of the tongue, and we're only 1/8 of an inch off. So you probably won't see that. I mean, hell, this wall here could be off by that much. So I think we're doing good. We're in good shape. And now we're just waiting on some more material to get it finished up. Well, as you can see, we're a little bit further along with our tongue and groove accent wall. I was able to get the extra OSB that I was missing and get the wall finished up and closed up. I've gone ahead and made this corner trim piece here already, and I've nailed it in place. However, I'm going to hold off on the floor, inside corner, and ceiling trim for now. They're made. I'm just going to finish them on the sawhorses instead. It's going to make polyurethaning and sanding between coats a lot easier without those additional pieces in place. I haven't cut my holes yet for the wall sconces, for the simple fact that I don't want to create any additional edges for the polyurethane to catch and run. So I'm just going to leave those whole for now and cut them when the wall is finished. I did prep this wall. I took this sanding block here, and I've actually sanded all the inside little grooves with the sanding block, and then I took an electric random orbit DA sander with 150 grit sandpaper, and I sanded all the flats smooth. That got rid of any superficial scratches, light dents, and also smudging. So it's the wall is going to look all nice and clean. Now I'm ready to use this Minwax pre-stain. Anytime that you're staining a real porous wood such as pine, you're going to want to probably use some of this pre-stain wood conditioner. And what that does is it allows the stain to penetrate more evenly, and it'll eliminate muddiness and blotchiness, which often occurs when staining pine. So it's almost a must if you're going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this step all taken care of, and then we'll be ready for staining. Well, here we are, all stained up. I'm really happy with the color. It doesn't have a name. I kind of custom mixed it, but a good majority of it is this Ipswich pine, and that was just a little too light it's a light brown, and it didn't do anything for the grain of the wood. So I had some gun stock that I threw in, which is a reddish orange, and I had a little bit of cherry left over in this half pint, so I threw that in the blender, mixed it all up, and this is kind of the color that we came up with. The house is mostly done in a color called cider, so this is something that kind of goes along with it. It's still kind of a light brown, but there's a lot of pink that shows through with the wood grain and stuff. So overall, I'm really happy with the results, and it goes really well with the rest of the colors in the house. So I'm going to let this set overnight, and tomorrow I'm going to start putting on semi-gloss polyurethane, and that'll really help start giving it a little bit of depth and dimension. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, see how it brings the wood to life. Okay, the wall is all polyurethaned and finished. I'm ready to cut in my electrical boxes for the wall sconces. Before the wall was closed up, I took some measurements and I put these pieces of tape on the wall and transferred those measurements over to it. I just drew in these lines with a magic marker that represents a stud inside the wall, and I wanted to know where those were, so when it came time to cut in my electrical boxes, I didn't end up on a stud and, you know, completely screw things up. So I have transferred some lines over just a little bit off of center of those. I'm probably a good ½ inch off the edge of that stud there, so we should be fine. This is a 4-inch hole saw. That's what I'm going to be using to cut the boxes in with. And what I'm going to do with that is cut just the tongue and groove layer out of there, leaving the ½ inch OSB intact, and then that will allow this box to recess back in there, and I'll be able to screw it to the OSB. So that should work out really nice. These marks here represent a top shelf and some brackets that I made, the different heights that they're going to be. Also, that is the center of the wall. Once again, here is another stud location. I'm probably a good ½ inch off of it, and that's the center of the other pancake box. Okay, the 4-inch holes are in the wall. They worked out perfect. Here is the first hole. As you can see, when I took the plug out, there was a tongue and groove nail in there, but that's not a big deal. I'll just reach in there with a pair of channel locks and pull that out of there. Here is the second hole. Worked out just as well. And what that's going to allow me to do now is mount my pancake box in there like that to the ½ inch OSB. And it's about an 1/8 inch recess, so that's just about perfect. What I have to do next is hole saw out the center of this hole so I can reach in there and grab the electrical wires. If you remember, they're just in there and it's kind of coiled around in a circle like that. So I'm going to make those holes a little bigger, reach in there with something, maybe a coat hook wire or something like that, and kind of fish them out. And I'm going to end up using the center knockout here for the wires to come through. And I need to choose a size hole saw that won't be too big, because I want to use these two outside holes here for mounting the box to the OSB. So I'm going to try to find a hole saw that will work just perfect for that. Okay, and here we are. We had success. I ended up using an 1.25" hole saw, and I just nice and lightly kept pressure on it. I knew I didn't want to plunge the drill bit and hole saw all the way through because I knew the wires would be just right behind that 1/2 inch OSB, and sure enough, there is our wire. I'll easily be able to reach in there and just kind of work it out with my fingers. I did make this coat hook so you could kind of get in there if you wanted to, if I needed to fish around for it, but nope, it's right there. So that'll be easy enough to get out. So these are the light fixtures that I picked out. They kind of reminded me of antique carriage type lanterns, so that's why I got them. They were $29.99 a piece. I got them at Menards, and they come in a black finish, and I think that's going to look really nice because I've also decided to go with some wrought iron looking cover plates and 90-degree brackets for the shelf that's going to go up at the top of the tongue and groove wall there. So I think everything is going to tie together and look pretty nice. Let's take a look at one of these light fixtures. Boy, that's not pretty good, isn't it? That looks like that's going to work out pretty nice. I've just temporarily mounted this light fixture. It's not wired up or anything, but I just kind of wanted to see how it was going to look, and I think I really like it.